From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening here on Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In tonight's recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more monthly checks from those Democrats. Then we cut to the recon, a done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you, the American people. Checks for all my viewers nearly across the board. Seniors, workers, and more. I have that in the second half of this video. Then we cut to the voting process, faster and easier than initially thought. That's the breaking news tonight on Evenings LA. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which is just days away from starting. The raising up of your benefits of SSI and SSDI and VA benefits and more. And then we cut to the big money across the board, $50,000, $35,000. Viewers are getting big sums of money. And when you thought you had seen it all, tonight you meet one viewer who got over $100,000 from this channel for rent and utilities. And this is Evenings LA. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful evening across the board. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. And boy, it cooled down immensely today, and then it started to heat up again. Really? Are you trying me, Father Weather? Father Weather, stop with the heat. Go away. Jump the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather as well where you are. In tonight's recording, a lot of breaking news. We'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more months of checks from the Democrats. Then we cut to the recon. The single biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel for viewers of this channel. $10, $15, $20, $30, $40,000 are being gotten by viewers from second stimulus and third stimulus. Well, this behemoth is a gazillion times bigger, And I'm going to show you how much money you're getting under this fourth stimulus package. It's incredible, great news. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall in just a few days, raises your benefits for SSI and SSDI. And then for fourth stimulus, I'll be going over the voting process of why it's easier and quicker and simpler than initially thought. That's the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the very final 15 minutes. A lot of breaking news in this video. But then we also turn to the big money across the board as viewers getting $5, $10, $15, $20,000 for rent. And then Mark getting $50,000 for this channel. And tonight you meet Lorraine, who got over $105,000 from this channel. And this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week. Financial News Channel America, live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. See in this video, it'll automatically take you there. You don't have to lift a finger, sort of like Chuck Schumer. And then at 8 o'clock is Sirloin. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next up, 1 million. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. Remember to always like the video. For some reason, the Evenings LA people continue to forget to like the video. The other shows, not so much. But this one, remember to like it, Evenings LA viewers. And then consider becoming a Purple Hawk and learn about how you can also get these big sums of money across the board. Let's cut into that monthly stimulus check breaking news. House versus Senate, Senate versus House, starting right now. They are both monthly and they are both with monthly checks. But the question is how many checks and which one is pays more money. When you look at the House bill, pandemic plus 1 year, it compares to the Senate July to December. When you look at the House bill, it is $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. Senate amount unknown, but word on the street is it's this deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Well, pandemic plus 1 year. Pandemic is really heating up. The breaking news overnight is that the CDC has now approved, following the FDA, the third dose of Moderna. So this is as the booster shot is now coming available to some individuals. House versus Senate. Well, the House would pay more than 1 year checks. and the house would pay more than 12 checks. That would be more than $13,000 from the House. How does that compare to this in the Senate? I think I have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Who gets this forced stimulus check? You do. Single individual, 75,000 or less. Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, VA benefits, and more, you get a forced stimulus check. The forced stimulus check is not income. It is not taxable. The forced stimulus check would be the same amount for adult dependents and everyone else. And the forced stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you go to the discotheque tonight and you see someone doing really bad dance moves, don't wave at it. It's probably the check. Hey, check, what is that dance move you're doing? Is that a dance move or you're waving at me? Oh, you're waving at me. Hey, how are you? Oh, you didn't wave at me. It's just a bad dance move. The lambada went out of style 10 years ago, you bad check. And there you go. It's not a waivable check. It's just a rude check and can't dance. In the second half of this video, we cut to the surprising news as $3.5 trillion are coming to the American people. The biggest single payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. It's for you. It's checks for you of all kinds, application-based generally. And Purple Hawks are going to be able to pounce and get this money before anyone else. I'm going to show you why. Then we cut to the voting process. The final 15 minutes of this video stay to the very end. We have new data that suggests the voting process will be quicker, easier, and sooner for the recon. Then we cut to fist stimulus, which raise your benefits up lifetime. But first, let's get some money. Get a pen and paper ready, because even if it's Saturday night, it's all right for some money. We're going to get some rent, utilities, food, internet, and more. And guess what? We're going to go to a lot of different steps. When I talked about rent a few weeks ago, I said I can get you 4 to 6 months of rent, about $5,000. Well... Here's the update. Viewers got a little bit more than $5,000, a little bit more than $10,000, $15,000, a little bit more than $20,000. They got $27,000 for rent. Yes, congratulations, Elizabeth, Purple Hawk member. Elizabeth getting $27,000 for rent. Mark getting $25,000 for rent. In fact, he told his neighbors, go watch that kid. He's the real deal, LALATE. His neighbor got $20,000 for rent after Mark got $25,000 for rent. Nancy, $24,000 for rent. Richard, $22,000 for rent. Nisi, $20,000 for rent. And if you have a success story, send it to me on private message on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and I will feature your success on air. Gonzalez tells me on Facebook he got $8,000 for rent in California. Congratulations, Gonzalez. Pamela got $12,000 for rent. Carla tells me she got utilities and SNAP. Tiffany tells me she got $13,000 for rent and SNAP and also utilities. Randy tells me he got $6,000 for rent and also utilities. Jennifer tells me she got $5,000 for rent and other items. And Cecilia tells me she got $1,200 for HEAP. And that's a heap. Well, when we turn to utilities, viewers are getting a heap of utilities as well. Not $300, but are ready for this? Bam. Whoa, that is incredible. Nancy got through $7,000 for utilities. Mark, $6,500 for utilities. Angela, $5,000 for utilities. This is water, gas, electric, heat. And then when we talk about SNAP, which is food, are you ready for some deliciousness? I mean, we love delicious food, but here's some deliciousness. Here is the money viewers are getting for SNAP. Bam. Oh, my goodness. Louis, $18,000 for SNAP. Incredible. John, $10,000 to $12,000 for SNAP. And Nancy, $5,000. And for viewers that are in the Triple Crown, I'm not talking about horse racing. I'm talking about getting rent, utilities, and SNAP. Are you ready for people who got the Triple Crown? Are you ready? Let's see it. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Nancy, $32,000. She got for rent, utilities, and SNAP. Nisi getting $23,000 for 3 items. And Mark getting $32,000 for 2 items. 2 items? What do you mean, Mark? 2 items. Excuse me, Mark. 2 items? How did you get $32,000 for 2 items? Where's the third? Of course, that was the video I made for over 7 days of this channel. Mark apparently never got SNAP initially. And I thought, SNAP is the easiest thing in the world to get. That's why it's called SNAP. It's a SNAP. And so Mark, I said on air for 7 days, I said, go get some SNAP. And so he did. And how much SNAP do you think Mark got? I said to Mark at the time, get 8,000, because I love the number 40,000, don't you? It has a lot of zeros in it. We love money that has a lot of zeros in it. And I said, Mark, you'll get 8,000. So you bring it up your total of 40,000. Well, Mark got SNAP. That's the update. And Mark got more than 8,000. That's also the update. So how much do you think in SNAP Mark got? 10,000? No, try it again. $19,000 for SNAP, bringing Mark's grand total to $50,500 as part of the Triple Crown. Congratulations to all of you. And this is LALATE. We've been doing this since day one, getting big sums of money on this channel, and this is going to be a huge issue for forced stimulus because most of the stuff in forced stimulus is application-based, and you will see how to get this big money and everywhere else. People will be like, what? When EIDL grants and loans came out, a lot of people were wondering, how do I get my unapproved application approved? They were stuck in the 330 vortex, 331, 48. No one was helping them. No one was helping them get approved until I came around. And I got $25 million of EIDL loans approved by doing their applications on air and also in private messages during the middle of the night with a volunteer, getting nearly upwards of 10 applications approved a day at $150,000 a pop, getting $25 million of EIDL loans approved. I know how to get people money. I know how to get people money when money is approved, but it's application-based. In fall of 2020, sick and stimulus checks were not coming, $600. So there was no check landing in your hand. Sorry, donut guy. But I knew I had to get people approval for application-based money, and that's what happened. Tyrone applied and got $15,000 for rent for his family of four Boston from December and all the way to March. And then in January, I started Purple Hawks on this channel, and now you're killing it. You're killing it because you realize that the biggest sums of money in these stimulus packages are application-based. Forced stimulus with $3.5 trillion of checks will be generally application-based, and everyone else will be going, oh, and you, Purple Hawk, will know how to get it because you've been doing some second stimulus, third stimulus, and you're going to do it with forced stimulus because we do it as a family here. And are you ready for this? Here is the biggest payout we've ever seen yet of the subject matter. While Mark got $50,500, here you go. Double that from Lorraine. $105,640 was obtained from Lorraine for rent for several years into the future, food, and additional sums of money. And boy, that is third stimulus, and that's how we're going to do fourth stimulus. So get a pen and paper ready. We're going to get some big money right now. We're going to get some rent, utilities, food, and internet. I'm so excited for you for fourth stimulus because if you're doing this well on third stimulus, imagine how well you're going to do with fourth stimulus. We're going to get some big money under third stimulus right now. We're going to get some rent, utilities, food, and internet. And guess what? I have a couple of introductory remarks. Number one, I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Reach out to each one. Next, each place has their own eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Number 3, each has their own pot of money. So don't worry if you get a no from one, reach out to the next. Additionally, every state has money. And there is not a single state in the country that is not allocating you money. Finally, there is not a single place that disqualifies you. At the 1 o'clock afternoon's LA show today, 2 people in the live chat, one a member and one a non-member, said, I'm 65 years old. There's no money for rent for 65-year-olds. 100% incorrect. 100% incorrect. And I don't know where someone would sort of get that. This is the sophistication of a Purple Power member. There's money for you. And because you're on SSI, there's still money for you. Because you're a senior, there's still money for you. Because you're not behind on your rent, there is still money for you. And because you're in a state in which, maybe you think the state is miserly, doesn't pay out a lot of money, there's money for you. So get that pen and paper ready because I'm going to go over all the big money for you right now. We're going to reach out to 6 places. You ready? Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, your state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. It popped in the back of my brain. Sometimes you remember things and you haven't thought about them for several months. Tyrone's example in the second stimulus was historic at the time because it was Boston. And Boston in December was not paying a lot of people through frontline programs. It was an example of like another viewer who was here in Southern California. He was in Riverside County, which I never heard of. Riverside County has a housing authority, but I learned from that viewer. Both those viewers understood that there wasn't anything from the county or from the state level, but the viewers found it. He found it in a Boston division that I did not know about, and the Riverside viewer found it from the Riverside Housing Authority. And they got paid. And everyone else that was in the live chat in December said, wait a second, how'd you get that money? That is what Purple Power pushing is. So get that rent, get that big money. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's wonderful rap career. Excuse me, my ears hurt just thinking about that. And congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money for rent. If you got a rent, post in the live chat, and also utilities. Let's turn now to SNAP. SNAP is money for food. Eligibility is very easy. It's easier than a stimulus check. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A fortune. What is it for? It's money for your food. How much does it pay? A family of four out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Whoa, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And we're killing it. We're only 15 minutes of this video. We've got to $27,000 for rent. We've got to $19,000 for SNAP. We've got to $8,000 for utilities. If you got SNAP as well, post in the live chat. Now we're cutting to those unemployment benefits coming back for your states. States are returning money back to you due to computer error and unemployment benefits overpaid. Land by direct deposit. How do you track it? Contact your state and say, hey, state, can you track it with a computer? And when you do, can you turn the computer on? Sorry, sir, I can't find it. Did you just turn on the computer, sir? Oh, I forgot. And then lastly, the refund check coming back from IRS of that 2020 tax return. Sorry, Mitch, it's a waivable check. I know your ears hurt every time you hear that, but the IRS check is a waivable check. Every week there's a new wave going out. Average payments are about $1,200. Mark got $1,400 for this. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. But first, here's a personal message for me as well. If you're in the live chat and you've not posted your success stories, please do, because you help other viewers 4 different ways. The first way is perhaps the most important one right now. Viewers are getting reacclimated or refocused by realizing, wait a second, viewers are getting $30,000 on under a third stimulus package that was this big for rent and utilities, and now they're getting prepared for fourth stimulus that is this big. Imagine how much money they're going to get on a fourth stimulus that is application-based, just like third stimulus. Now you're getting people really acclimated to realizing, wait a second, I need to start applying. I can't keep on sitting back and saying, where is it going to land on my bank account, in my hand, because my sugar-coated sprinkled donut is getting soggy. Now people are really understanding you need to pick up the phone and call, and you're inspiring people. That's number 2. You're inspiring people because people realize, wait a second, we're not talking about a few $100s here. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars. People may have never heard of even getting even getting their rent paid, or never even thought of getting their utilities paid. And then people have never heard of SNAP. They never even heard that SNAP even exists. Larry Maui never did. I got him $500 a month from this channel. So now people are realizing, because of you, to go get these sums of money. Then they hear of Triple Crown recipients. Nancy, inspired by Nisi and Art Sullivan, who got 3 items. Mark, who got 2, inspired to go get a third. And then suddenly we're realizing the numbers are getting even bigger than before. So now you're getting prepared for fourth stimulus. And trust me, when fourth stimulus becomes law and you've already got some money for third stimulus, you're going to be so ready to pounce as a Purple Hawk. You're going to be used to this. And everyone else is going to be saying, what are they doing? How do they know? How did they learn this? Shh. It's just between you and me. And there we go. Let's cut back to those unemployment benefits. Where are they landing? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Can you track them? Yeah. Track them? Yeah. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. 70% of the time it'll work. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid, and then it'll reveal stuff you wish you had never seen. Like Ron Portman, does he have a pass from the disco club where he used to wear very shiny bell-bound pants and dance to Nancy Pelosi's favorite disco song? I just don't want that visual. And there you go. And 70% of the time will reveal the refund check you came back from IRS. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the second part of this video, starting right now. The second part of your fourth stimulus check package starts right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the fourth stimulus recon. Let's go over what we've seen in the past. We had a recon number 1 that was this big, and a recon number 2 that was this big, and a recon number 3 that was this big. And each of these recons were small. This one is a behemoth. It's $3.5 trillion. Moreover, the previous stimulus packages were nearly 80 to 90% for corporations. This one is nearly 100% for you. This is why there's so much money in this recon that is all application-based generally. And that is why Bernie Sanders campaigned a generation to get this money out to you. This is why the Republicans hate it, because it's spending a lot of checks on you, mostly application-based. So how do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by taking roads and bridges out of the recon and leaving it just with checks for you. A conservative publication confirms my reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, roads and bridges, and put it in the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable, and vice versa. They've now both passed the U.S. Senate. So what happened next? You're only going to hear this on this channel, that the recon price tag of $3.5 trillion was achieved by the Democrats in the House and the Senate, meeting with the president daily to ensure that they got a price tag they like. So when this recon lands in the House, it's an easy vote because they already agreed upon the $3.5 trillion price tag a long time ago. And this is why they wanted a big number. Representative Richie Torres said we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie, $3.5 trillion. And Representative Elon Umar says we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, $3.5 trillion passed. The president then told the Democrats, progressives, to protect my recon because everything that's in the recon is checks for the American people of progressive nature. And that's why Jolapal and Schatz both said the White House considers the progressive priorities in there their own priorities. Wow. So what is a recon and what is a bipartisan? It's important to understand the differences between the two because the president says I have to have both of them on my desk in the White House to sign at the same time. Otherwise, I'm not signing one. I'm not just signing recon without bipartisan, and I'm not saying bipartisan without recon. So let's go over the details, and then let's go over what's the difference between recon procedural and recon substantive. Okay, first the terminology. So recon is your money, and bipartisan is not your money. That's why it's important to keep them separate, but also know what one is for the other. So recon is also called reconciliation. And let me find the graphic. Here we go. So recon is also called reconciliation. It's also called the budget bill. Price tag $3.5 trillion. It's also called the Democratic spending plan or the progressive payout or social reform plan. All because it has a lot. It's just all checks for social issues to the American people. Bipartisan is called roads and bridges, also called infrastructure. Price tag $1.5 trillion. No money in there for you. This is just for roads and bridges. We got three bills we're doing. We got recon procedural, then we got recon substantive, and then we got bipartisan. Let's go over the difference of recon procedural versus recon substantive. Okay, recon procedural is very basic, and it'll really only ask two questions. Number one, do you agree at a later time to do a recon of a price tag of $3.5 trillion? I do. Okay. And then of that price tag, do you agree to give $10 of the money to committee number 1 in the Congress, committee number 2 in the Congress, $20? I do. That's all it's asking. Total price tag, and then how much to give to each respective committee. Once recon procedural is passed, then they do recon substantive, which then takes you to the next step, which is, okay, now that committee 1 has $10, how is that committee going to spend the money? Is it going to spend the money on this person or that person? When, how, and by what nature? Pretty simple. Okay, so who writes the recon? The recon is written by Democrats in subcommittees of the House. The Constitution delegates different subject matters to different subcommittees. For example, House Ways and Means is responsible for writing stimulus checks, unemployment benefits. When each of the subcommittees, let's say it's 10, have finished writing those pages, let's say it's 10 of 10, they send them up to be combined, and that gets a big S on it if it's going to the Senate. For Schumer, no, for Senate. But later in this video, you're going to see that maybe it gets an H on it, not for Nancy, but for House, because maybe it starts on the House side. Wow, that's coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the very end. Can we top that? Yes. As Jolapal recently wrote Schumer a letter saying, Chuck called the vote on the recon. Well, now they've called the vote on the recon, and it's passed. And that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of 100 plus. They recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Wow. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. The same subcommittee we just went over? Yes. Pearl Power, you got to push and push because these people are promising you monthly stimulus checks. Can we top that? Yes. As the President of the United States recently did it. 7 weeks ago today, he went overseas for a global minimum corporate tax rate. Ceremonial signature, but the real signature was a few days ago. Why is this great news? Because it doesn't need to go in the recon, making it easier to pass the recon. First, easier to write the recon because it's not in there. Easier to call the vote, easier to vote on it, and easier to pass the four stimulus recon because this confusing thing is not in there. And can we top that? Yes. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, we'll be going over breaking news about why the recon may start sooner and end faster because it's easier breezier than we initially thought. Number two, we're going to go over why this recon is the biggest payout that you have ever seen and why you as a Purple Hawk are now prepared to get these big sums of money, because most of them are just application based. Then we're going to cut to fifth stimulus as well, and then we're going to go over what you should anticipate for next week across the board. But first, if you need help with rent, utilities, food, and internet, and you have not found it, always try to get it yourself first. Reach out to the volunteers. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description and you'll find a link to the community page. That's news.la.com/community. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Evenings LA continues with the breaking news in the final 15. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LALATE as fourth stimulus heats up. As viewers continue to rock massive sums of money under third stimulus and are prepared for the big money under fourth stimulus. Meantime, the timeline and the passage may be easier than initially thought and faster. That's coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. First, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so you get access to all this big money across the board. The link is underneath the video. Meantime, stay on this video and it'll send you into overnight's crypto now playing on the channel. Strange twists across the board for crypto today as crypto stalled in the morning. Usually Saturday morning is a big day. So what's happening overnight? I have all the latest details. Then join me for Sirloin tonight at 8 o'clock. Meantime, the President of the United States, when running for the highest office in the land, promised to raise your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. He did not. And now the Democrats are vowing to take care of it in what's called fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus starts in just a few days. It starts in September and it involves raising your benefits up. First step is they'll start legislating this, drafting this up in September. And that's just a few days from now. What they'll do after that is they will then put it to a vote, presumably by November, is what they represent. They'll apply the benchmark in December for next year's benefits, and then they'll start doing it accordingly. So how does this work? First, they'll raise your benefit limits up. Then they're going to move the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this works starting right now. Step one, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. First thing they'll do is raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. And where's inflation going to be? It's going to be transitory. Transitory is a word Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, uses, which means a temporary spike. When? In December. Yes, right when they apply your benchmark. So how high is it going to go? I've been reporting it may hit as much as 5%. So let's do the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply the benchmark in December. And if the rate is 5%, then you'll go up another 5%. Not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Then they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to the 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to the 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You no longer fear loss of benefits. And if you had benefits canceled, they'll be restored. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married. Meantime, will there be a fifth stimulus check the Democrats represent? It's going to be in the fifth stimulus package those House Ways and Means members represent. And finally, if you're on the live chat and you have not become a member, what are you doing? Underneath the video, it says join here. That's where you want to click. Daily, I'm delivering you from YouTube community page a breakdown of all the big money under second stimulus for you to get, third stimulus, and proposed for fourth and fifth stimulus. This is what you need to know across the board, is that when second stimulus was passed and it was a $600 stimulus check, I said, sure, $600, you're going to get it, but don't be focused on a $600 stimulus check because you're going to get it and spend it, and then you're going to wonder where the next check is. I said, focus on the big money you can apply for under second stimulus. And there's more than $16,000 in there from almost all viewers of this channel. Tyrone and his family got $16,000 for his family of four out of Boston. Paid all their rent from December to the new year, making them financially independent because of rent. Then, when third stimulus was passed earlier this year, I said the same thing. It's going to be a $14 stimulus check. Don't be dependent upon it because once you spend it, you're going to come back and say, where's the next check for $1,400? And there won't be one in February or March. I said, get the big sums of money under third stimulus, $14,000. I said, I can get you. And that was in January. Now people in July or August are now saying, I never got that money early on. I should have got that money on because I needed money across the board. And now Purple Hawks are realizing the money is still there and they're pouncing. Here's the big difference, is that most of the money in these stimulus packages is application-based. And I'm really excited for you because now you become laser focused on getting those big sums of money. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25,000, 30,000, 50,000, even 100,000. So consider becoming a member. The link's under the video and click that right now. Meantime, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now, and deal done. The fourth stimulus recon has $3.5 trillion of checks for you, and I'm really excited for my Purple Hawks especially. Because fourth stimulus recon will predominantly be application-based checks, just like third stimulus. So if you're getting $5,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 from third stimulus, imagine how much money you're going to get from fifth stimulus, which is fourth stimulus, which is almost all application-based. The first stimulus package was this big. Second stimulus package was this big. Third stimulus package was this big. The fourth stimulus package is this big, with almost all of it for checks for you, while the previous stimulus packages were mostly checks for corporations. Bernie Sanders fought a generation to get these checks for you. This is why the Republicans don't like it, because they call it basically social spending on social services for American citizens. They don't want that money spent. While we don't have the provisions of what is in all those items, some of them have been released that are recommendation-based. These are not definitive. These are just recommended. And all of these are application-based checks, meaning free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, free internet checks, checks for farmers, and then lots of checks for my workers and checks for seniors, checks for workers, independent contractors, checks for unions, and then lots of checks for seniors alike, lowering the eligibility age, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care. More about that in a second. Now let's cut over to the path. This Wednesday, the recon procedural passed the U.S. Senate. Next up is the House of Representatives. As you saw early in this video, this is going to be an easy slide in. Why? Because the Democratic senators and House members met weeks ago before this whole process started and agreed upon a price tag. So they're not going to change their mind. They already agreed upon $3.5 trillion. This is going to be an easy vote to pass. But the other breaking news this weekend is that the process is starting a little bit earlier than we initially were told. So let's go over the representation about voting dates, because this is all incredible great news. Number one is August 23rd. Steny Hoyer represents the recon procedural that just passed the Senate, will go for a vote in the House. This will be a simple, quick vote because House members already agreed upon the $3.5 trillion price tag. Then on 9/15, Chuck Schumer represents the recon substantive vote will happen. This may happen in the House or the Senate. Why does that H have an asterisk next to it? Because it's proposed. Initially, we thought it was going to start in the Senate, but I love it in the House. Why? Because the House has more progressives. They'll give you more money. The House generally gives more money than the Senate. And I like the House going first because they can give you more money, and then the senators can do vote-a-rama thereafter and also add more money on top of it. Also, I like that the House is doing the subcommittee writing and then basically stays in the House. Then 9:30, the recon vote done is proposed, not firm date, but proposed. All right, let's go over now the details of the fourth stimulus recon itself. $3.5 trillion of checks to the American people. So if you have gotten money before from this channel, from second stimulus or third stimulus, you are ready with that skill set to get the big money on a fourth stimulus. And I'm so excited that the viewers of this channel have become really refocused and laser focused on getting sums of money. Over the last 6 months, we've gone from people saying there's no money in Michigan, there's no money in Texas, there's no money in Mississippi, to people now this morning, if you saw early morning's LALATE chat today, it was great. One viewer said there's no money in Mississippi for rent, and there were 3 people in the live chat from Mississippi. I guess it was a big Mississippi contingency of viewers. And they said, no, there's money for rent. I got it. And here is where you get it, and this is where you get it. I love that because people were trying to help each other. But now you see how people are really laser focused on getting money. If you get money on your own accord by calling up, picking up the phone, and getting this money for rent, utilities, food, you're going to be really laser prepared when fourth stimulus becomes law, because it is generally going to be almost all application based. Anyone that's a donut guy that simply says, I don't qualify for anything because I'm 60 years of age, wrong. I don't qualify for anything because I'm on SSI, wrong. I don't qualify anything because I'm in California. California doesn't pay anything, wrong. All those people are going to be sitting around with their I don't qualify for anything mantra, and then they're going to watch everyone else start getting these checks and realize, wait a second, what did I do? And these things are first come, first serve, as Purple Hawks know. So there you go. Meantime, we have to push Purple Hawks because you want to ensure that these legislators spend the money on the right things. And that's why I brought back Seat for Stimulus. Hashtag Seats for Stimulus. It's all one expression. I launched this last year as a social media campaign to tell congressional leaders, you better spend the money the right way. You better spend the money the right way. And it's working again because I see a lot of people doing a great job on social media, tweeting their elected officials, give us the right stimulus or we're taking your seats. Moreover, the balance of power is in jeopardy. There's 6 House seats up for grabs in November election. And those 6 House seats could cause the House to go Republican or cause the House to become more Democratic than it is. And that is the current time frame. And this legislation is just minutes before people go to vote in the polling booths. Meantime, the Senate has 34 seats of 100 up for grabs next year. So big news with that as well. So you need to push purple power. Meantime, what's important to understand is that we have 2 paths, recon and procedural, and they both have to pass. The president has made it very clear. Both pieces of legislation need to stay on my table at the same time. Don't just send me recon. You have to also send me bipartisan. Nancy Pelosi, Jalopal, Bernie, all spoke out and said the recon will be called for a vote before the bipartisan. So we're not just calling the vote for the bipartisan, forgetting about the recon. So they have your back as well. For now, here's a personal message. And the personal message is the following. I'm so proud of you. I'm really proud of you because I can just even remember November of last year when I was on air with a lower production quality and I was in the live chat, people saying, where do I find stuff in New York? Where do I find stuff in Denver? Where do I find stuff in Tennessee? And I would have to answer to them where they find it. Now you find the answers yourself. You have clearly learned from the videos and taken that skill set to learn where to get the money. Because when I deliver the information to you via the community page of YouTube daily, you're taking that information and learning, this is how I get the rent. This is how I get the utilities. I'm also really excited about the mindset. The mindset has gone from, I'm a senior, I don't qualify for anything, or I'm on SSI, I don't qualify for anything. And now realizing that's just totally 100% untrue. And realizing, wait a second, I see these other people who I know who are also Purple Hawks who are getting $20,000, $30,000. I would love to have my bills paid for that way. And you're getting these big sums of money. It's snowballing because as one person gets the money, more people get the money. Finally, a personal message, a very big personal message, which is about 7 days ago, I did a test and I went into the comment section on the back end of the website. And I wanted to look and see who is posting what comments and what the comments look like. If you don't know, I can see which comments are posted by Purple Hawks, which comments are posted by subscribers, and which are posted by people who are neither Purple Hawks nor subscribers. And I saw the fake narrative, the untrue, the trollish type of comments coming from non-subscribers, non-Purple Hawks. And what was happening was basically the following. You'd have maybe a Purple Hawk post a nice comment like, where do I find something in Tennessee for rent? And then a non-subscriber, non-Purple Hawk would jump in the comments and say, there's nothing in Tennessee. Stop looking. Stop wasting your time. Which is awful because that's totally incorrect information. These non-subscribers, non-Purple Hawks were priding themselves on providing you false information. Well, not information, but false comments to give in the comments so that people were being littered with false comments. Now, along the way, we all know that there have been problems with people trying to send you to WhatsApp and, foreign websites and things like that, impersonation things and comments. And despite whatever restrictions you try to put on the comment section of a channel, it's impossible to keep them out. So the best solution was to hold comments until approved. Not all comments will get approved. In fact, your comment may be totally fine, but may never get approved. So if you're on a video and you want to jump into the conversation, jump in the live chat. Every video has an instant premiere. Every video instantly premieres, which has a live chat. If you've been a subscriber for a few days, you can jump in the live chat and post your comments accordingly. Meantime, that is why you see less comments on the website, because comments are being held and not being released generally 9 out of 10 of the time, because it just keeps it a cleaner website. And here's a hysterical comment to end with. Of the comments that appeared in the hold folder by a non-subscriber and a non-member said, oh, I see there's less comments, so hence XYZ. No, the comments are being held for someone just like you. And there you go. So I look forward to seeing your comments in the live chat daily. And that's why there's less comments on the website, to keep it a cleaner, safer, because safe is very important with me, safer environment where you get information, not misinformation, across the board. And I look forward to seeing you next on Overnight's Crypto. Join that video. You have to lift a finger, sort of like Chuck Schumer. This video will automatically take you there right after this. And then Sirloin at 8 o'clock. Meantime, join this channel next week as a new slate of programming is just around the corner. And see you tomorrow morning on Early Mornings LA. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers of YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, stay with the best community online with the best information and the kindest group of people. And have a beautiful day.